Welcome to Legacy Black of Power. 50 black celebrities we can't recognize today, then, and now 2025. Time changes everything. Even our favorite stars. From stunning makeovers to shocking transformations, these 50 black celebrities look almost unrecognizable today. Some age gracefully, others reinvented themselves completely, and a few will leave you speechless. Get ready to see their incredible then and now journeys in 2025. If you love nostalgia and surprises, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these stories alive. Vanessa Williams, the nightmare of manufactured beauty. Vanessa Williams once embodied the very idea of an icon. In 1984, she made history as the first black woman to wear the Miss America crown, a moment that broke barriers and redefined beauty. But triumph quickly turned to tragedy. A nude photo scandal forced her to give up the title, and the world was ready to write her off. Instead, Vanessa fought back. She reinvented herself, conquering television, film, and music with unforgettable roles in Soul Food, Ugly Betty, and beyond. Yet behind the glamour lurked a silent fear. Fear of time, of fading relevance, of being swallowed by Hollywood's unforgiving spotlight. And so began her uneasy dance with plastic surgery. It started quietly in the late 90s, a slight nose refinement, subtle enough to escape notice. But as the years passed and her 50s approached, the ticking clock grew louder. Younger stars were stealing the spotlight, and Vanessa couldn't let go. Botox became her armor, smoothing every wrinkle, freezing every smile. Fillers rounded her cheeks until they seemed molded, her lips swelling into an unnatural pout. The woman once celebrated for effortless elegance slowly disappeared. At 62, Vanessa still commands the red carpet, radiant and confident. But the public doesn't see the groundbreaking beauty queen anymore. They see someone polished, frozen, almost wax-like. Online, photos of her youthful face resurface with bittersweet captions. She used to be so beautiful. And the cruelest truth? Vanessa feels it too. The mirror doesn't lie. The past cannot be restored. And no surgery, no spotlight can turn back the clock. Vivica A. Fox, the price of chasing forever youth. Vivica A. Fox once lit up the big screen like few others could. In Independence Day, she was a radiant beauty audiences couldn't take their eyes off. In Kill Bill, she proved she was more than just a pretty face. She was a force Hollywood had to reckon with. But in an industry obsessed with youth, time becomes a cruelest rival. By her 40s, the roles slowed, the spotlight dimmed, and Vivica made a choice that would define the rest of her journey. She would fight age itself. It started innocently in the early 2000s, just a touch of Botox here, a smoothing there, subtle, polished, almost unnoticeable. But Hollywood is relentless. New starlets with fresher faces were everywhere, and the pressure to keep up only grew. After her very public breakup with rapper 50 Cent in 2003, the whispers sharpened. She hadn't only lost a love, she was losing the very image that made her a star. Between 2015 and 2020, the fight became a spiral. Botox became routine, fillers became heavy, and with each injection, the woman fans once adored slipped further away. Her skin grew unnaturally tight. Her cheeks swelled into unfamiliar shapes. Her eyes narrowed, her lips froze. On red carpets, the camera still flashed, but instead of admiration, the air carried something harsher, pity. She used to be so beautiful. That cruel refrain has followed Vivica like a shadow. Now at 60, she still commands a stage, but not with the same glow that once stopped Hollywood in its tracks. Instead, her story is a sobering reminder of the industry's unforgiving demands, a woman caught in the painful trap of trying to remain forever young in a town that never lets anyone age gracefully. Wendy Williams, the price of chasing youth. Wendy Williams wasn't just another talk show host. She was a force. From her early days as a razor-sharp radio DJ to becoming the queen of daytime television, Wendy built an empire on unfiltered honesty and jaw-dropping drama. She even stepped onto the big screen and Think Like a Man, proving her reach stretched far beyond the TV stage. But behind the spotlight, Wendy was at war with the mirror. Convinced she would never be enough, she chased beauty through plastic surgery, a chase that would slowly erase the woman the world once knew. It began in the 1990s. Standing tall with commanding frame, Wendy did match the slim, polished image Hollywood demanded. Her first gamble? Breast implants. Overnight, she had the voluptuous figure she thought success required. For a brief moment, her confidence returned. But it was fleeting. By the 2000s, her body had become a battleground. Liposuction promised curves, but instead left her unbalanced. An upper half, still full while her legs shrank into frailty. Her proportions turned chaotic. Still, she pressed on Botox, fillers, nose jobs. Each procedure promised perfection, but piece by piece her natural beauty gave way to swollen cheeks, uneven lips, and a nose reshaped beyond recognition. What remained was the stiff mask of a broken doll. Her personal life only fueled the cycle. A turbulent marriage to Kevin Hunter, betrayal, and humiliating scandals sent her back under the knife. Each surgery an attempt at reinvention, an escape from heartbreak. But with every operation, she carved away another part of herself. By 2020, Wendy Williams was a stranger to her fans and to herself. Her once dynamic presence was hidden behind a body that looked swollen yet fragile, a face that was shiny but frozen, stripped of emotion. Viewers no longer saw the fearless host who made them laugh and gasp. They saw a ghost of the woman they once adored. Wendy had always wanted to stand out, and she did, but the cost was devastating. In chasing youth, she lost the one thing that had made her unforgettable, being unmistakably, unapologetically herself. Lisa Ray McCoy, The Price of Chasing Beauty. Lisa Ray McCoy once embodied Hollywood seduction. After her breakout in the Players Club 1998, she was unforgettable, symmetrical features, smoldering eyes, and a magnetic presence that demanded attention. But in Hollywood, beauty is both a gift and a curse, and glory never lasts forever. By 2008, her fairy tale unraveled. A bitter divorce from former Prime Minister Michael Missick erupted into headlines filled with accusations of abuse, betrayal, and infidelity. The scandal nearly broke her, yet Lisa Ray refused to crumble. She swore she wouldn't let time etch its marks across her face. If Hollywood worshipped youth, then she would fight to stay young. That fight led her under the surgeon's knife. It began with a nose job, chasing perfection, but the mirror reflected a stranger. The natural elegance of her features disappeared, replaced with sharp angles that looked cold, almost artificial. Still, she pressed on, a sharper chin, fuller cheeks, flawless lips. Procedure after procedure, her beauty became a mask. Her skin grew tight and glassy, her expressions dulled, her once sultry face frozen in place. By 2010, when she revealed her new look, fans were stunned. The woman they once adored had vanished, replaced by someone unrecognizable. Hollywood, which had once bowed to her allure, now looked on with disbelief. Lisa Ray McCoy fought with everything she had to preserve her beauty. But in chasing perfection, she lost the very thing that made her unforgettable, her essence. Nene Leakes, the bloody makeover of a reality TV queen. Nene Leakes was never just another reality star. She was a storm wrapped in sequins. On The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was thunder and lightning all at once, a sharp tongue that cut through every room and left no challenger standing. But in Hollywood, charisma only gets you so far. Here, fame isn't just about presence. It's about the face in the mirror. By 2010, Nene began to wonder a dangerous thing. Did her reflection still deserve the spotlight? That question pushed her beneath the surgeon's knife. The first cut was her nose, slimmed, lifted, sharpened into something unrecognizable. Then came liposuction, hollowing out the warmth from her cheeks, and fillers that pulled her once expressive features into something colder, tighter. By Hollywood's ruthless standards, she looked better. But she didn't look like Nene anymore. Her career soared, but her personal life crumbled. The bitter split from Greg Leakes in 2011 left scars that surgery couldn't hide. Control became her obsession. Control of her body, her face, her image. Another nose job followed, more fillers in her lips and cheeks. The public noticed. Admiration turned into whispers. They weren't celebrating her beauty anymore. They were questioning it. When she remarried Greg, it seemed like redemption was possible. But his death from cancer in 2021 shattered her world all over again. Once more, she sought comfort in the scalpel. Botox, fillers, a nip here, a tuck there. Each procedure carried her further from the fiery woman fans had fallen in love with. Today, Nene Leakes no longer looks like the queen who once ruled reality television. She's become a ghost of herself, a distorted echo of the icon she used to be. The spotlight has dimmed. The chatter has gone quiet. And what remains is silence, the kind that makes you wonder if somewhere along the way, Nene stopped recognizing the woman in the mirror too. Kim Fields, the nightmare behind the needle. Kim Fields once lit up America's TV screens as Tootie Ramsey on The Facts of Life. With her radiant smile, sparkling eyes, and effortless charm, she was a nation's sweetheart, a teen star who seemed destined for forever greatness. But Hollywood has a cruel way of turning its back once child stars grow up. By her 20s, the scripts dried up, the spotlight faded. Her name, once adored, became little more than a passing memory. Then, in 2010, a second chance came knocking, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was her chance to step back into the limelight. But reality TV was no fairy tale. On that stage, every woman looked airbrushed by time itself. Flawless skin, sculpted features, plump lips that seemed to defy aging. Kim, with her natural lines and graceful maturity, felt naked under the camera's gaze. Every close-up whispered the same cruel truth. You're not the little girl America remembers anymore. The pressure mounted until it broke her. In 2011, Kim surrendered to the needle, Botox for the lines, fillers for the cheeks, lips just full enough to keep up. But one session turned into many. Soon it became routine. By 2015, the nightmare revealed itself. Her once soft cheeks swelled unnaturally. Her lips stiffened, waxy and overdone. Even her nose seemed strangely altered. Viewers gasped. She looked so different. The vibrant spark that made her unforgettable was gone. Her famous smile, the one that stole America's heart, was now frozen, empty. Little Tootie was gone. Hollywood had stolen her youth. The surgeries had stolen her identity. And somewhere in the mirror, Kim Fields faced the most haunting question of all. Am I still me? Takina Arnold, a bloody bargain for fame. Takina Arnold was comedy gold. As Pam on Martin, she was sharp-tongued fire. As Rochelle in Everybody Hates Chris, she was a tough, hilarious mom everyone adored. She didn't need glitz or glam. Her raw wit and natural charm were enough to steal every scene. But in Hollywood, talent alone never wins. Beauty is the currency. Once she crossed 40, the calls slowed to silence. Casting directors reached for fresher faces. Fans remembered her as Pam, but few cared to see her now. The message was cruel and unmistakable: transform or disappear. In 2015, she tried a small change, a nose job. Something subtle, she thought. But when the bandages came off, the stranger in the mirror stared back at her. The sharper nose clashed with her warm, rounded features. Every glance in the glass became a battle. Then came a wound far deeper than Hollywood rejection. In 2016, her husband, Rico Hines, was caught cheating. And worse, his sex tape exploded online. The betrayal wasn't private. It was a public humiliation. A global stage for her heartbreak. Shaken, desperate, she chased reinvention. By 2017, she turned to Botox and fillers, hoping to erase the pain, erase the years, and remind the world she was still desirable. But no one warned her about the razor-thin line between enhancement and disfigurement. The fillers froze her once lively cheeks. Her lips swelled unevenly. Her skin pulled so tight, it strangled her smile. When she returned, the warmth was gone. Directors stopped calling. Fans whispered. What happened to her face? The spark that once lit up screens had been frozen stiff. Hollywood stole her youth. Rico shattered her trust. Surgery stripped away her magic. And Takina Arnold, once comedy's shining jewel, was left staring into the shadows of her own reflection. Trina McGee, a youth obsession that ended in disaster. Trina McGee was once a radiant star, forever remembered for her role on Boy Meets World. In the mid-90s, she lit up the screen with her effortless charm, graceful talent, and natural beauty. But in Hollywood, youth is a currency, and for women past 40, it often runs out fast. The roles dried up, the phone stopped ringing, and after a painful divorce in 2003, her career seemed to stall in silence. Desperate to reclaim the spotlight, Trina became convinced that youth itself was the key. Surgery, she thought, could turn back the clock. Around 2010, she went under the knife for her first nose job, hoping sharper features would mean sharper opportunities. But the results were uneven. Her nose looked strangely small, out of balance with the rest of her face. Still, she pressed on. Botox erased lines, fillers plumped her cheeks, her eyes were pulled tighter, her lips inflated fuller. In the mirror, she believed she saw a younger, marketable Trina, ready for a comeback. But when she reappeared in 2015, the reaction was merciless. Instead of applause, there was shock. Her nose sat unnaturally high, her eyes froze in a look of surprise, her skin stretched so tightly it barely moved, and her lips swollen unevenly. Fans were stunned. The media mocked her. Even friends struggled to recognize a woman they once adored. The effortless beauty that had made her unforgettable was gone. By 2020, Trina McGee quietly slipped out of the spotlight, avoiding red carpets and cameras. Each glance in the mirror may have been a search for the woman she once was, but staring back was only a stranger. Surgery hadn't brought back her glory days. It had pushed her further away from them. And, perhaps most tragically, further away from herself. La Toya Jackson, beauty lost to obsession. La Toya Jackson was born into music royalty. With the legendary Jackson name, she should have lived in the glow of fame. But while Michael moonwalked into history and Janet claimed her own throne, La Toya remained in the shadows. Every comparison, every dismissive glance chipped away at her confidence. She longed to be seen not as just another Jackson, but as her own star. And in that search for identity, she turned to the surgeon's knife. The 1980s became her breaking point. As Michael's changing face fascinated the world, La Toya followed the same path. Staring into the mirror, she no longer recognized or loved the reflection. In 1987, she went under the knife for the first time. A nose job that left her features unnaturally small. Instead of stopping, she chased an illusion of perfection. Her chin sharpened, her cheeks swollen with fillers, her skin pulled so tight it gleamed beneath the lights. With each procedure, she lost more of the woman she once was. Then came 1989, and the darkest chapter of her life. La Toya married Jack Gordon, a man who turned her world into a prison. Manipulative, abusive, and cruel. He forced her into Playboy shoots and threatened to kill her family if she resisted. Surgery became her escape, a desperate attempt to reinvent herself, to hide the pain. But with every cut, the freedom she sought slipped further away. By the 2000s, La Toya reemerged, but fans barely recognized her. The nose was almost gone, the chin jutted unnaturally, the cheeks puffed, the skin stretched like porcelain. This was not the La Toya Jackson the world once knew. She had escaped her family's shadow, but at the price of losing herself. Today, she lives far from Hollywood's burning spotlight, a haunting reminder that obsession, abuse, and pain can carve away more than just beauty. They can take your very identity. Patti LaBelle, a legend rewritten by the knife. Patti LaBelle wasn't just a singer. She was royalty, a voice that shook the heavens, a presence that commanded respect, an elegance that felt untouchable. For decades, she reigned supreme, adored not only for her music but for her regal beauty. Yet time spares no one. As the years pushed her into her 60s, the glow that once lit up every room began to dim. Wrinkles crept in, her career slowed, and Patti found herself staring into the mirror, longing for the youth that had slipped away. Then came the heartbreak. In 2003, after more than 3 decades of marriage, the man she loved walked out. Alone and aching, a cruel question haunted her. If I were younger, prettier, would have stayed? That whisper drove her toward the promise and the peril of cosmetic surgery. By 2005, she took her first step under the surgeon's knife, a nose job meant to be subtle. But the results were anything but. The bridge collapsed, the tip tilted upward, leaving her features unnaturally altered. Instead of stopping, Patty told herself just a little more. And so it spiraled. Fillers swelled her cheeks into stiff mounds. Botox smoothed her skin but erased her expressions. Her lips, once soft and inviting, grew uneven and frozen. With every procedure, the warmth, the grace, the beauty that had defined her disappeared. When she finally returned to the stage, her voice still soared like a goddess. But her face told another story. Fans were stunned. The emotions she once wore so openly were gone, replaced by a mask. The press buzzed. Admirers mourned. Patti LaBelle may have believed surgery could reclaim what time had taken. But in the end, the world did not see a legend reborn. They saw a legend lost, one whose face had been rewritten by the scalpel. Lil' Kim. From queen of hip-hop to prisoner of a mirror. Kim wasn't just a rapper. She was a revolution. A fearless woman who seized a crown in a kingdom where women were rarely allowed to reign. With her round face, piercing eyes, and radiant brown skin, she was magnetic. Every glance, every gesture demanded attention. But behind the glitter and flashing lights lived scars that no spotlight could erase. In 1996, Kim gave her heart to a man who shattered it. What she found wasn't love, but fists, insults, and words crueler than any bruise. You're not pretty enough. You're not good enough. Those words etched themselves deep, turning every mirror into an enemy. So she made a fateful choice. If beauty wasn't hers by birth, she would carve it into existence. The late 90s marked the beginning of her transformation. It started with one nose job, but the scalpel became her escape, surgery her silent addiction. Her skin grew lighter, her lips swollen, her face frozen under layers of Botox and fillers. Each new procedure pulled her further from the radiant woman who had once redefined hip-hop's image. And then came the unveiling. When Lil' Kim finally stepped back into the public eye, her smile was wide, but her face was unrecognizable. The caramel glow was gone, her features sharp and ghost-like. Fans gasped. Headlines mocked. The queen who once commanded respect now faced whispers, pity, and ridicule. In the end, Lil' Kim reclaimed her power, but at a devastating price. She had conquered the music world, only to lose the one thing no fame could replace: herself. Whoopi Goldberg, a transformation everyone's talking about. Whoopi Goldberg is turning heads like never before, and she's not shy about it. The longtime co-host of The View recently stunned audiences in a sleek Christian Sereno design, radiating confidence and elegance that had everyone talking. These days, Whoopi looks rejuvenated, lighter, not just in weight, but in spirit. She's been refreshingly honest about her transformation, openly crediting the medication Mounjaro for helping her along the way. During a candid chat on The Kelly Clarkson Show, Kelly couldn't help but compliment her radiant glow. Whoopi smiled, admitting she's been using Mounjaro and calling it wonderful, saying it's done exactly what she hoped for. At one point, Whoopi weighed nearly 300 pounds. But through discipline, humor, and a little help from science, she shed an astonishing amount of weight. Enough, she joked, to equal 2 people. The change was so dramatic that one reporter even thought she was wearing a fat suit while filming Till. In an August episode of The View, Whoopi decided to address the whispers directly. "Yes, I took Mounjaro," she said confidently. "I'm not hiding it. I did it." For her, being transparent wasn't about making headlines. It was about owning her truth. In a world full of secrets and speculation, Whoopi chose honesty. And in doing so, she reminded everyone that transformation, physical or otherwise, starts with courage and self-acceptance. Lizzo, glowing with confidence and self-love. Lizzo has been absolutely radiant lately, and her recent Thanksgiving appearance was living proof that she's embracing confidence like never before. The Truth Hurts hitmaker, now 36, stole the spotlight in a stunning, body-hugging orange dress that celebrated every curve. She later took to TikTok, first giving fans a close-up of her flawless makeup and intricately braided updo, before zooming out to reveal the full glam moment. One look, and it was clear, Lizzo was feeling herself unapologetically. This year, The Grammy winner has been refreshingly transparent about her health and wellness journey, bringing fans along every step of the way. She shared that she shifted her focus toward a protein-rich diet, adding more animal-based foods to boost her energy and support her goals, a big change from her previous vegan lifestyle. Her followers even got a glimpse into her daily meals, which often include egg white cups, buffalo chicken lettuce wraps, grilled chicken, and roasted veggies. For Lizzo, it's not about restriction. It's about nourishment balance and choosing what truly makes her feel her best. Still, she hasn't shied away from the hard parts. In September, Lizzo got real about the moments she overeats or feels frustrated with herself. Emotions that many of us understand all too well. But through it all, she stood firm on one truth. Her transformation has been completely natural. No quick fixes, no injections, just dedication, discipline, and a deep commitment to her own well-being. Charles Barkley, a legend's second win. Charles Barkley has always been larger than life, both on and off the court. Known for his fiery opinions and unstoppable energy, the NBA Hall of Famer has never shied away from speaking his mind. But lately, Barkley is turning heads for a different reason. His incredible transformation. At one point, he weighed 352 pounds. But with a mix of determination, humility, and the right guidance, he's dropped an impressive 60 pounds, bringing him down to 290. And it all started with one brutally honest moment that changed everything. His doctor didn't sugarcoat it. There are a lot of fat young people, he said, but there are no fat old people because they're already dead. The words hit Barkley like a thunderbolt. That was the wake-up call he needed. From that moment, Charles got serious. He credits part of his success to Mounjaro, a medication for type 2 diabetes that also helps with weight loss. In classic Barkley fashion, he's been completely open about using it, even joking that he doesn't know exactly how it works, just that it does. But pills alone didn't make this change. Barkley started making real adjustments, eating better, moving more, and committing to a healthier lifestyle. The results speak for themselves. Fans can't stop cheering him on, flooding social media with praise for his discipline and fresh new look. For Charles Barkley, this isn't just about losing weight. It's about gaining back control of his health, his energy, and his future. Fat Joe, the way to change. There was a time when Fat Joe's name wasn't just about his rap persona. It was his reality. At 470 pounds, the Bronx legend was battling more than fame. Behind bravado and platinum hits, he was fighting depression, grief, and habits that were slowly killing him. But today, he's a staggering 200 pounds lighter, a transformation born not from vanity, but from survival. Joe has spoken openly about his struggles, especially the moment that broke him. The death of his best friend and brother in music, Big Pun. When Pun passed in 2000 at just 28 years old, weighing nearly 700 pounds, it shattered Joe. He drowned his pain in food and alcohol, numbing the grief that success couldn't silence. Then came the moment that changed everything. At Big Pun's funeral, Joe saw Pun's little girl, around the same age as his own daughter, and it hit him hard. That could be his child, standing there without a father. That vision stayed with him, burning deeper than any lyric he'd ever written. Still, depression doesn't loosen its grip easily. It took 2 long years before Joe truly began his journey back. In 2002, he laced up his sneakers, hit the treadmill, sweated through plastic suits, and reinvented his entire lifestyle. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. Today, Joe admits that modern medicine helped. He's used OIC, a type 2 diabetes drug often prescribed off-label for weight loss. But he's quick to remind fans, no pill replaces discipline. Real change comes from the inside, through consistency, courage, and a decision to live for something bigger than yourself. From rap icon to inspiration, Fat Joe's story isn't just about losing weight. It's about reclaiming life. Janet Jackson, the weight of fame and the power of reinvention. At 58, Janet Jackson has done it again, stunning fans with a transformation that has everyone talking. For decades, the pop legend's weight has been as much a part of her public story as her music and groundbreaking performances. From the pressures of fame to the demands of touring, Janet's body has reflected her battles, triumphs, and reinventions. After giving birth to her son, Isa, In 2017, Janet shocked the world by dropping a massive amount of weight to prepare for a comeback tour. Now, years later, she's back in the headlines, reportedly shedding an incredible 40 pounds in just 3 months for a North American tour. Standing at just 5 feet 3 inches, Janet's weight has fluctuated dramatically over the years. During her last tour, reports claim she gained nearly 75 pounds, reaching around 180, a number that raised concern among fans and the media alike. But when it was time to hit the stage again, Janet did what she's always done. She rose to the challenge. Her new figure is nothing short of jaw-dropping, leaving even insiders astonished. Many doubted she could pull it off, or that such rapid weight loss was even possible, let alone safe. Yet, Janet proved once again that she's a force of nature, driven by discipline and the spirit of performance. Still, her journey raises important questions. Experts warn that yo dieting, the cycle of losing and regaining weight, can cause long-term harm. Dr. Gabe Macon, a specialist in longevity medicine, explains, every time you lose weight, you're not just losing fat, you're losing muscle and bone. When you gain it back, it's mostly fat. Over time, that imbalance can increase your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and fractures. For Janet, though, transformation has always been more than physical. It's a statement, a declaration of control in an industry that constantly tries to define her. Whether on stage or off, Janet Jackson continues to remind the world, reinvention is her greatest power. Shonda Rhimes, the power of a wake-up call. Shonda Rhimes, the creative genius behind Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, didn't just lose 150 pounds. She reclaimed her life. For Shonda, it was never about chasing a number on a scale. It was about healing, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Her turning point came in 2014 mid-flight, when she couldn't buckle her seatbelt. That single, uncomfortable moment hit her like thunder. It wasn't just embarrassment. It was realization. Something had to change, not only for her, but for the 3 little girls who called her mom. In her candid memoir, Year of Yes, How to Dance It Out, Stand in the Sun, and Be Your Own Person, Shonda pulled back the curtain on her battle with weight and the deeper transformation that followed. She began with knowledge, getting a full physical and tracking progress one step at a time. No trendy diets, no quick fixes, no surgery, just honest, sustainable change built around self-respect and patience. One of her most powerful rules? Nothing was forbidden. She allowed herself to eat whatever she wanted, but with mindfulness. That small shift broke the endless cycle of restriction and guilt, teaching her to listen to her body and eat only when she was truly hungry. Shonda's story isn't just about weight loss. It's about reclaiming control and rewriting your own narrative. But her journey is only the beginning. Wait until you hear how Chaka Khan's transformation took an entirely different turn after a life-changing diagnosis. That story will leave you speechless. Chaka Khan's weight loss journey, a story of strength and redemption. Chaka Khan's weight loss wasn't just about shedding pounds. It was about reclaiming her life. The legendary I'm Every Woman singer faced a wake-up call in 2011 when doctors diagnosed her with type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. At the same time, fate handed her a new responsibility, caring for a 10-year-old granddaughter whose parents were struggling with addiction. In that moment, Chaka knew something had to change. I have to be here for her, she said, and she meant it. Determined to rewrite her story, Chaka began with a month-long fast to reset her body and spirit. Then she embraced a vegan lifestyle, cutting out meat, dairy, and sugar entirely. I never really liked that stuff anyway, she laughed. Every meal became a quiet act of healing. Occasionally, she allows herself a bit of baked fish, but her focus remains on clean, protein-rich, plant-based foods. Exercise was never her passion. If I had to choose, it'd be walking, she joked, but her consistency paid off. Slowly and steadily, the weight melted away, about 5 pounds a month. By October, Chaka was 60 pounds lighter, radiating a glow that came not just from physical change, but from peace, purpose, and newfound energy. Gabore Sidibe, choosing to fight smarter. For years, Gabore Sidibe battled her weight, with every ounce of strength she had. Diets, trainers, and endless workouts. She tried it all, but nothing seemed to work. Then came the moment that changed everything. Both she and her brother were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. That terrifying reality became her wake-up call. In her powerful memoir, This Is Just My Face, Gabby reveals how fear, frustration, and a deep desire to live pushed her to make one of the hardest decisions of her life: undergoing laparoscopic bariatric surgery. It wasn't a quick fix or an act of vanity. It was a fight for her life. The road afterward wasn't glamorous. For 17 days, she lived on a liquid diet, battling both physical hunger and emotional exhaustion. Slowly, she learned to rebuild her relationship with food. 5 small meals a day, guided by her nutritionist, tracked carefully through every app and check-in. Today, Gabby Sidibe stands as a symbol of courage and transformation. Her story isn't about surrender. It's about strength. Because sometimes, fighting smarter means asking for help and taking control of your own future. Tyra Banks, redefining strength and beauty. Tyra Banks has lived her entire life under the glare of the spotlight. From the moment she shattered barriers as the first Black woman to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition and became a victorious secret angel, her body wasn't just hers anymore. It became a public conversation. The fashion world once called her too curvy, and later, critics targeted her for gaining weight. But Tyra never stayed silent. She clapped back, fiercely defending women whose beauty didn't fit the industry's narrow mold. Yet behind that confidence, Tyra carried the weight of expectation. In her memoir, Perfect is Boring, she revealed the emotional tug-of-war between being a symbol of body positivity and the private guilt of wanting to change her body for herself. When she welcomed her son York via surrogate, Tyra began to see her reflection differently. Her curves, once criticized, now told the story of motherhood, love, and care. Still, her journey wasn't over. After suffering an ankle injury, her doctor advised her to lose weight to heal properly. This time, it wasn't about beauty or fame. It was about health and strength. Over 9 months, with the help of a nutritionist and sheer discipline, Tyra lost 30 pounds through clean eating and consistent exercise. Today, at 159 pounds, she says she feels powerful, vibrant, and finally, free. For the first time in decades, Tyra Banks isn't performing for camera. She's living for herself. Angie Stone, a journey of strength and self-love. When Angie Stone was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 1999, it was more than just a medical wake-up call. It was a turning point. The powerhouse voice behind so many soulful anthems suddenly had to face a new challenge: her own health. Between the spotlight and the demands of motherhood, Angie made a life-changing decision: to fight back and take control. She didn't just diet, she transformed. Angie embraced balance, discipline, and self-care. She swapped late-night fast food runs for nourishing meals, replaced excuses with workouts, and started rebuilding her relationship with her body. Her commitment paid off. Through sheer willpower, Angie lost nearly 50 pounds, proving that strength isn't just about hitting high notes, but about hitting personal milestones. A major turning point came when she joined VH1 Celebrity Fit Club, where structure and support fueled her progress. Eventually, Angie transitioned to a vegan lifestyle, cutting out processed foods and embracing the natural power of plants: fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. The results were transformative, inside and out. Her greatest motivation? Her children. With a 10-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter watching her every move, Angie wanted to be more than a singer. They needed her to be an example of courage and resilience. Today, Angie Stone's journey stands as a beautiful reminder that change is possible when you lead with love, faith, and determination. Her transformation isn't just physical, it's spiritual, emotional, and deeply human. Up next, discover how rapper Paul Wall took an even more dramatic step toward reclaiming his health, shedding an incredible 100 pounds and rewriting his story along the way. Paul Wall, the wake-up call that changed everything. For Paul Wall, the road to transformation began with a brutal truth. At 320 pounds, the Houston rapper was told by his doctor that he was morbidly obese, a moment that hit harder than any lyric he'd ever written. It was the kind of wake-up call that forces you to stop, reflect, and decide whether you're going to keep surviving or start truly living. After years of yo dieting, popping weight loss pills, and falling back into old habits, Paul finally chose to take control. He underwent gastric sleeve surgery, a life-altering procedure that removes part of the stomach to curb appetite and quiet the body's hunger hormones. It wasn't an easy road, but the results were undeniable. Paul shed 100 pounds and reclaimed his life. But for him, this wasn't just about appearance. It was about freedom. He wanted to feel lighter, move easier, and live longer. The surgery was only the beginning. The real transformation came from within. Through cleaner eating, consistent workouts, and a new mindset, Paul Wall didn't just lose weight. He gained a new rhythm to his life. Kim Coles, redefining strength one step at a time. Kim Coles' weight loss journey has been a true roller coaster, filled with triumphs, setbacks, and moments of deep self-discovery. But through it all, she's met every challenge with humor, resilience, and that unmistakable spark fans have loved since her living single days. Her transformation first caught attention when she shed 24 pounds on VH1 Celebrity Fit Club. But as many know, losing weight is only half the battle. Keeping it off is where the real fight begins. Over time, the pounds slowly crept back, forcing Kim to look beyond quick fixes and confront what being healthy truly meant for her. For Kim, the journey was never about chasing a smaller dress size or living up to Hollywood's expectations. It was about freedom. The freedom to move without pain, to climb stairs with ease, and feel alive in her own skin again. That realization led her back to her friend and nutritionist, Robert Ferguson, who helped her rediscover balance through mindful eating and self-compassion. Gone were the fad diets and magic pills. Instead, Kim embraced portion control, moderation, and grace, allowing herself to enjoy food without guilt. Sure, the road wasn't perfect. Between travel, work, and life's chaos, she stumbled more than once. But each time, she got back up stronger. Today, Kim isn't chasing numbers on a scale. She's chasing joy. Her focus is on strength, confidence, and peace within her body. Because for Kim Coles, true success isn't about being smaller. It's about being whole. Randy Jackson, a battle for health and a journey of redemption. Randy Jackson's weight loss journey began in 2002 with a harsh wake-up call, a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. At 350 pounds, the beloved American Idol judge was forced to confront a truth that could no longer be ignored. It was both a curse and a blessing. He later revealed in his book Body with Soul. That moment didn't just change his health. It changed his entire life. In 2003, Randy made a bold decision: gastric bypass surgery. The procedure, which drastically reduces the stomach size, became the first chapter of his transformation. He would go on to lose more than 100 pounds. But Randy soon realized that surgery wasn't a magic fix. It was only the beginning. Real change demanded a new mindset, discipline, and a complete reimagining of his relationship with food. Life on the American Idol set tested his resolve daily. Temptations surrounded him: sandwiches, chips, cookies, milkshakes, snacks that had once been his comfort. Instead of giving in, Randy learned balance. He didn't ban his favorite foods. He simply learned to savor them wisely. Never say never to chocolate, he famously said, because the moment you do, a binge is coming. What began as a fight for survival evolved into a mission to help others. In 2019, Randy founded Unify Health Labs, a wellness brand built on science, honesty, and lived experience. Drawing from his own transformation and insights from top health experts, he dedicated himself to empowering people everywhere to take charge of their health, mind, body, and soul. Randy Jackson's story isn't just about weight loss. It's about self-awareness, redemption, and proving that it's never too late to rewrite your story. Mariah Carey, the songbird's stunning transformation. Mariah Carey's weight loss journey is nothing short of remarkable, a true testament to resilience and self-love. After giving birth to her twins, Moroccan and Monroe, in 2011, the global superstar faced one of the toughest challenges of her life: reclaiming her body and confidence in the public eye. At first, Mariah naturally lost about 40 pounds of water weight through postpartum diuresis, but her real transformation began later. driven by determination, discipline, and a deep desire to feel strong again. Through a focused combination of mindful eating and consistent workouts, she shed an additional 30 pounds and revealed a renewed version of herself, glowing with confidence. Her secret wasn't extreme diets or starvation, it was balance. Mariah embraced lean proteins like salmon and chicken broth with capers, filling her plate with vibrant vegetables while cutting out refined carbs and sugars. When cravings hit, she reached for nature's sweetness, fresh blueberries and juicy mangoes, instead of processed treats. A major turning point came when she joined the Jenny Craig program, a structured plan that helped her stay consistent. With its 500-calorie per day guidance and personal coaching, Mariah found not just a diet, but a lifestyle that fit her hectic, high-profile world. Today, her transformation stands as proof that with patience, discipline, and self-belief, even a global diva can find balance and beauty beyond the spotlight. Selena Johnson, a transformation beyond the scale. Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and TV host Selena Johnson has turned her health journey into a story of strength, sisterhood, and self-discipline. Together with her sisters, C.E.T. Du Bois and Dr. Cynthia Thompson, she shed an astonishing 125 pounds, with Selena herself dropping over 60 pounds through pure determination and purpose. Her transformation wasn't just about losing weight. It was about gaining control. She completely overhauled her lifestyle, trading quick fixes for conscious, sustainable choices. Clean eating, mindful nutrition, and a dedicated fitness routine became her daily rhythm. A vital tool in her journey was semaglutide, a medication originally designed to help manage type 2 diabetes, but now a powerful ally in modern weight loss. For Selena, it wasn't a magic pill. It was a partner in her discipline, a testament that true success comes from combining science with willpower. But the most remarkable part of her transformation came when Selena stepped boldly into bodybuilding. Under the guidance of Coach KD for TV1's From One Stage to the Next, she pushed herself to the limit, sculpting not only her physique, but also her confidence. What emerged was more than a new body. It was a woman reborn, fierce, focused, and unbreakable. Marsha Ambrosius, the powerhouse voice behind countless soulful anthems, didn't just transform her sound. She transformed her life, determined to reclaim her health. Marsha shed nearly 70 pounds, and her secret weapon was the Weight Watchers program. Its balance of structure and freedom allowed her to take charge of her wellness without losing her love for food. With a focus on portion control and smart swaps, Weight Watchers encouraged mindful eating instead of restriction. For Marsha, that meant enjoy her favorite meals while making better choices. No guilt, no deprivation. The program helped her build a healthier, more sustainable lifestyle that matched her rhythm, proving that transformation isn't about perfection. It's about empowerment, consistency, and self-love. Michelle Indigiocello, from enchanting beauty to empowering boldness. In the early 1990s, Michelle Indigiocello wasn't just another artist. She was a vision of natural beauty and fearless individuality. With her short, spirited hair and magnetic confidence, she radiated authenticity in an industry obsessed with perfection. But fame has a way of testing even the strongest souls. Her world shifted when her once thick, radiant hair began to fall out in uneven patches, stripping away not just her look, but a piece of her identity. For many, that kind of loss would have meant retreat, but Michelle wasn't built to hide. She faced the mirror and the truth head on. In a bold act of defiance and self-love, she shaved her head completely. What some might have called a breakdown became her breakthrough. She turned her pain into power, transforming what could have been seen as a loss into a declaration of freedom and strength. Gone was the free-flowing hair that once defined her image, replaced by a striking baldness that made her beauty even more undeniable. It wasn't just a style, it was a statement, a rebirth, a message to the world that true beauty has nothing to do with what grows on your head and everything to do with what shines from your spirit. That moment marked a turning point in Michelle Indigiocello's journey, not only as a musician, but as a woman who refused to be defined by society's expectations. Her shaved head became a symbol of resilience, courage, and authenticity. Through vulnerability, she discovered her greatest power and inspired countless others to do the same. From heartthrob to hero, the reinvention of 50 Cent. In the early 2000s, 50 Cent exploded onto the hip-hop scene like a storm, armed with razor-sharp charisma, infectious hooks, and a kind of swagger that couldn't be taught. His debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, didn't just top charts. It rewrote the rules of rap stardom. Overnight, he became a global icon, admired as much for his smirk and sculpted physique as for his lyrical grit. He was a face of power, confidence, and ambition. But everything changed on May 24th, 2000, outside his grandmother's house in Queens. 50 Cent was ambushed and shot 9 times. In a split second, fame gave way to survival. The bullets tore through more than flesh. They shattered illusion. The once flawless face that fans adored was now marked by resilience. A crooked cheekbone, fuller lips, eyes that told stories of pain and perseverance. His voice, forever altered, carried a deeper tone, a rough, haunting reminder of what he'd endured. Most would have fallen, but 50 Cent rose. He turned his scars into symbols of strength, his pain into purpose. Instead of running from his past, he owned it, and in doing so, transformed it. The world no longer saw just a rapper. They saw a survivor, a man reborn from tragedy. What could have ended his story became the very thing that defined it. 50 Cent didn't just live, he conquered. From heartthrob to hero, his transformation became one of the most powerful comeback tales in music history. A testament to survival, ambition, and unbreakable will. Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson's transformation is a story of struggle, courage, and rebirth. Once the upbeat, larger-than-life judge on American Idol, he was instantly recognizable. His booming laugh, his round frame, and that bright, infectious smile. But in 2003, life threw him a devastating curveball. Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, Randy faced a harsh reality. If he didn't change, his days in the spotlight, and perhaps his days, period, were numbered. Refusing to let the disease define him, Randy took control. In 2004, he made a bold, life-altering decision to undergo gastric bypass surgery. The results were dramatic. He lost over 50 kilograms, shedding not just weight, but the habits and fears that had held him captive for years. Fans were stunned. The once plump face was now lean and angular, the man beneath almost unrecognizable. His transformation sparked whispers and curiosity. But for Randy, it wasn't about vanity. It was survival. Behind every wrinkle and loose fold of skin lay a story of endurance. He had stared down his mortality and chosen to fight back. The journey wasn't easy, but it gave him something priceless. A second chance at life. Today, Randy Jackson stands as proof that it's never too late to reclaim your health, your confidence, and your future. Gabouret Sidibe's transformation is nothing short of inspiring. A story of courage, self-love, and rebirth. Once celebrated as a fearless breakout star of Precious 2009, Gabouret stood as a proud symbol of confidence and beauty in every size. Her talent lit up the screen, and her unapologetic presence challenged Hollywood's narrow standards. But in 2016, life threw her a wake-up call. After being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, Gabouret faced a decision that would redefine her future. She chose to fight for her health. Undergoing bariatric surgery wasn't about vanity. It was about survival and self-preservation. What followed was a breathtaking transformation. She shed a significant amount of weight, revealing a slimmer frame, radiant glow, and a confidence that felt brand new. Her once round face now carried sharp cheekbones and a powerful, renewed energy. When she stepped onto red carpet again, fans were stunned. Many could barely recognize the woman who had once defied every Hollywood mold. Yet the most beautiful part of Gabouret's journey wasn't just what she lost. It was what she gained. Freedom, self-acceptance, and the chance to inspire millions to take charge of their own lives. Her story isn't about changing to fit in. It's about transforming to live longer, love harder, and shine brighter than ever before. La Toya Jackson, the rise and fall of a timeless beauty. Once admired for her radiant glow, deep brown skin, and effortlessly natural charm, La Toya Jackson, Michael Jackson's enigmatic younger sister, was a picture of elegance and individuality. Her soft features and confident grace made her one of the most captivating faces in the Jackson family. But as fame intensified in the late 1980s, La Toya began walking a perilous path familiar to her brother, one paved with scalpels and self-reinvention. By the early 1990s, her transformation could no longer be overlooked. A series of cosmetic surgeries, chin reshaping, multiple rhinoplasties, and rumored skin lightening treatments gradually erased the woman fans once adored. Her warm, honey-toned complexion turned pale and porcelain. Her nose grew razor-thin, and her once expressive face took on an almost frozen porcelain doll stiffness. Today, many look back at LaToya's journey with a bittersweet sense of loss. The vibrant beauty who once radiated authenticity had become nearly unrecognizable, a haunting reflection of Hollywood's impossible beauty standards and the heavy price of chasing perfection. Wendy Williams, the talk show queen who left fans in shock. Once the unstoppable queen of daytime television, Wendy Williams owned every stage she touched. With razor-sharp wit, fearless opinions, and that signature flair, she turned gossip into gold and built an empire out of honesty, no matter how uncomfortable. But behind the laughter, a silent storm was forming. In the late 1990s, Wendy began to notice changes. Her body felt off, her energy faded. Her reflection no longer matched the woman she once knew. What started as small signs soon became undeniable. Doctors eventually diagnosed her with Graves' disease, a relentless autoimmune disorder that slowly began reshaping her appearance and stealing her strength. By the 2010s, the transformation was heartbreaking to watch. Her weight yo-yoed unpredictably. Her once familiar face became swollen, uneven, betrayed by fluid retention. But it was her eyes that stunned the world. Wide, bulging, hauntingly different. The radiant host who once commanded millions with confidence now battled her own body in plain sight. For fans, it was a painful sight, a mix of love, shock, and sorrow. Wendy had spent decades telling the world stories. Now, the world was watching hers, a story of fame, fragility, and a woman fighting to stay strong even as everything she built seemed to slip away. Kanye West, the tragic accident that changed everything. In October 2002, just as Kanye West was on the edge of superstardom, fate took a brutal turn. Late one night, exhausted from endless studio sessions, Kanye fell asleep behind the wheel. In a flash, his car slammed head-on into another. The impact was catastrophic. His jaw shattered in multiple places, leaving him barely recognizable. Doctors rushed him into emergency surgery, wiring his jaw shut with metal plates and bone grafts. When he woke up, his mouth was swollen, his face asymmetrical, and his voice forever changed. But that accident didn't just break bones. It broke open a new chapter in his life. Out of that pain came through the wire, a song recorded while his jaw was still wired shut, a raw, defiant testament to survival. That near-death moment didn't end Kanye West. It rebirthed him. From that wreckage rose an artist more fearless, more determined, and more complex than the world had ever seen. Anthony Anderson, the astonishing reinvention of a Hollywood favorite. For years, Anthony Anderson was known for his humor, his charm, and his fuller frame, a beloved actor who brought joy to millions while quietly battling type 2 diabetes and the emotional toll that came with it. Behind the laughter, though, was a man fighting for his health, his confidence, and his life. Then came the turning point. In the mid-2000s, Anderson made a life-altering decision. He would no longer let his condition define him. With relentless discipline and unwavering determination, he began a grueling journey of transformation. Every workout, every meal, every ounce of effort was a step toward freedom. The results were jaw-dropping. Gone was a round, familiar face, replaced by sharp features, renewed energy, and an unmistakable glow of self-assurance. Fans were stunned. Some barely recognized him. And while his transformation left traces of his past in subtle ways, it also revealed something far more powerful. A man who refused to surrender. Anthony Anderson's story isn't just about weight loss. It's about reclaiming control, proving that with resilience and faith in yourself, even the most daunting battles can lead to extraordinary rebirth. Nicki Minaj, from fearless rapper to a living plastic doll, the price of perfection. Nicki Minaj didn't just enter hip-hop, she detonated it. With razor-sharp lyrics, wild alter egos, and unmatched confidence, she didn't knock on the door of the music industry. She kicked it down and strutted through like she owned the place. By the early 2010s, Nicki wasn't just a rapper. She was a movement, a symbol of boldness, rebellion, and unapologetic self-expression. But as her fame skyrocketed, so did the scrutiny. Her once natural beauty began to morph before the world's eyes. The bold style that once felt playful and empowering evolved into something far more extreme. Her hips widened, her chest amplified, her face sculpted into near-flawless symmetry. What once made Nicki different now made her look almost unreal, a human Barbie crafted by fame's harsh spotlight. Fans and critics alike were torn. Some called artistic evolution, others self-destruction. But for Nicki, every transformation was more than vanity. It was strategy. In a ruthless industry built on image, she weaponized reinvention. Every new curve, every contour, every striking look became armor. She wasn't just surviving the beauty game. She was rewriting its rules. Nicki Minaj didn't change to fit the world. She made the world adjust to her reflection. Nene Leakes, the reality TV queen who transformed before our eyes. Nene Leakes wasn't just another reality star. She defined the genre. Bursting onto the screen in The Real Housewives of Atlanta, her razor-sharp wit, commanding presence, and unapologetic confidence made her a pop culture powerhouse. But as her fame skyrocketed, so did her transformation, one that fans watch unfold in real time. Once admired for her natural beauty and larger-than-life charisma, Nene began a bold reinvention that reshaped not just her career, but her face and body too. From subtle tweaks to dramatic overhauls, including nose jobs, facelifts, breast augmentations, and jawline sculpting, each change made headlines. The result? A sleeker, more polished look that divided fans but never slowed her down. Her taut skin, refined features, and sculpted silhouette drew endless speculation, yet Nene met it all with her signature fire. She owned her transformation, unapologetically embracing every choice and proving that power means standing by your evolution, no matter who's watching. Through the criticism, the gossip, and the glitz, Nene Leakes remained exactly what she set out to be, a queen who called her own shots in the world of reality television. Vybz Kartel, once hailed as the dark-skinned king of Jamaica's dancehall empire, built his fame on raw talent, lyrical brilliance, and unapologetic charisma. But by 2010, something about his appearance began to stir shockwaves across the Caribbean and beyond. His skin tone had drastically lightened. Fans were stunned. The man once celebrated for his rich melanin glow now appeared almost ghostly pale, a transformation so extreme it sparked national debate and global headlines. Kartel later confessed to using skin bleaching products, claiming it was simply a personal choice, but he denied undergoing any form of plastic surgery. Yet the changes went far beyond complexion. His image evolved into something almost theatrical, eccentric hairstyles, flamboyant outfits, and a reinvented persona that blurred the lines between rebellion and reinvention. To some, this was artistry taken to the edge. To others, it was a troubling reflection of deeper insecurities and societal pressures. Once admired for his natural charm and cultural authenticity, Kartel's metamorphosis left the world wondering, what drove one of Jamaica's most powerful voices to change so much, and what was the real cost of that transformation? From innocence to icon, the unbelievable evolution of Cardi B. Cardi B's transformation from the sweet, down-to-earth girl next door to a fierce global sex symbol is nothing short of mesmerizing. Before fame found her, she radiated a natural charm, simple, relatable, and unfiltered. But everything changed in 2014. Still working as an exotic dancer, Cardi made a bold, life-changing decision: breast implants. That single step became the spark that ignited one of the most talked-about transformations in modern pop culture. As her fame skyrocketed, so did her reinvention. From breast augmentation and but implants to liposuction, she sculpted herself into a walking embodiment of confidence and allure. Her features sharpened, her lips plumped, and her makeup turned from soft glam to bold statement. Cardi's had evolved into pure fire, flawless, fearless, and impossible to ignore. But beneath the glam and gloss lies something deeper. Cardi B isn't just a product of cosmetic change. She's a living symbol of unapologetic power, ambition, and self-definition. Every curve, every contour, every inch of her image tells a story of survival and success on her own terms. Love her or hate her, one thing for sure. Cardi B owns her transformation like no one else ever could. Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass, the golden voice of soul, once ruled the stage with electrifying confidence, his deep, velvet tones melting hearts across the world. But on the night of March 18, 1982, fate struck without warning. A devastating car crash shattered the life of one of R&B's brightest stars, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down. The man who once commanded the stage with strength and sensuality was suddenly confined to a wheelchair, his body fragile yet his spirit fierce. Still, Teddy refused to surrender. Even when the world saw his broken body, he showed them an unbroken soul. With grace, courage, and unshakable dignity, he redefined what it meant to be strong. His comeback performances weren't just music. They were triumphs of will. Though tragedy tried to silence him, Teddy Pendergrass proved that true power doesn't fade with the body. It burns forever in the soul. Monique, a transformation rooted in truth. Monique's weight loss journey isn't just about shedding pounds. It's about reclaiming power, purpose, and peace. Once weighing nearly 300 pounds, the Oscar-winning actress and comedian made a courageous decision to rewrite her story. Through discipline, patience, and self-love, she lost over 80 pounds, transforming not just her body but her entire outlook on life. What makes Monique's story truly resonate is her transparency. She never hid behind filters or quick fixes. Every post, every sweaty workout video, every heartfelt message on social media reflected raw honesty. She didn't just share a fitness journey. She shared a movement. Her fans didn't just watch her change. They changed with her. Her greatest motivation? Family. Monique often says she wanted to live longer, love deeper, and be present for her husband, her children, and herself. That purpose fueled her transformation. She turned away from processed foods and embraced whole, living nourishment. Fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and lean proteins. The once craved buffalo wings were replaced with colorful salads, energizing smoothies, and her go-to homemade dressing. Apple cider vinegar, honey, and olive oil, a simple mix that mirrored her approach to life. Pure and balanced. But food was just one chapter. The real breakthrough came when she made fitness her daily ritual. Monique committed to moving her body with joy and intention every single day. The results went far beyond the scale. She found strength, endurance, and a radiant confidence that lit up every stage she stepped on. Monique's transformation isn't just physical, it's spiritual. It's a reminder that when you decide to love yourself enough to change, you don't just lose weight, you gain life. Raven-Symoné, a journey of strength and self-love. For years, actress and singer Raven-Symoné lived life in the spotlight, but one routine doctor's visit changed everything. When her test results came back with alarming numbers, it wasn't just a health scare, it was a wake-up call. Raven realized it was time to reclaim her body, her energy, and her future, not just for herself, but to share a long, joyful life with her wife, Miranda Pierman-Mayday. With Miranda's love by her side, Raven began a transformation that was as emotional as it was physical. She switched to a low-carb, high-protein diet and practiced intermittent fasting, a tough but life-changing commitment that led to an incredible 40-pound weight loss. But beyond the numbers, what truly mattered was a partnership. Miranda became her rock, encouraging her daily, cooking healthy meals, and helping her cut out everything from honey to hidden sugars. Together, they turned discipline into a lifestyle. Raven also made another bold choice, undergoing breast reduction surgery. She spoke about it openly, explaining it wasn't about vanity, but about harmony, making her outward self reflect the strength and peace she felt within. Throughout it all, her father, Christopher Pierman, and her medical team guided her with wisdom and care. This wasn't just a diet or a quick fix. It was a holistic rebirth. Today, Raven-Symoné stands as proof that true transformation begins when you decide to love yourself enough to change and keep going one powerful choice at a time. Jennifer Hudson, a journey of power, purpose, and transformation. Jennifer Hudson's weight loss journey isn't just about numbers on a scale. It's a story of strength, self-love, and reclaiming control. The powerhouse singer and actress who first stole America's heart on American Idol in 2004 has undergone one of Hollywood's most inspiring transformations, going from a size 16 to a sleek size 6 and shedding over 80 pounds. Her turning point came in 2009, shortly after the birth of her son, David. Becoming a mother changed everything. Determined to be a healthy role model for him, Jennifer joined Weight Watchers, not simply to lose weight, but to redefine her relationship with food and with herself. Through the program, she learned that true transformation isn't about deprivation. It's about balance, mindfulness, and respect for your body. One of Jennifer's secrets? Mindful eating. With a schedule packed with performances and film sets, she focuses on listening to her body instead of obsessing over rigid routines. She eats when it feels right, practices portion control, and stays away from emotional snacking. And when cravings strike, Jennifer meets them with humor and discipline. "I throw the pancakes across the room," she once joked. That line says it all. She's learned to control her choices, not let food control her. Today, Jennifer Hudson stands not just as a Grammy and Oscar winner, but as living proof that transformation begins in the mind long before it shows in the mirror. Jill Scott, a journey of power, balance, and love. In recent years, Jill Scott has shed an incredible 63 pounds. But what makes her journey truly remarkable isn't the number on the scale. It's the story behind it. This transformation is about balance, joy, and self-love. Jill found her rhythm through a fun, ever-changing workout routine that keeps her body challenged and her spirit alive. From boxing gloves to bike rides, every session is an act of celebration, not punishment. Motherhood became the spark that lit her transformation. Jill says her son's laughter, curiosity, and boundless imagination remind her daily of what really matters. She wanted to be present, to see him grow, explore, and live life fully. That powerful love became her greatest motivation to reclaim her health, not just for herself, but for him. What makes Jill's story shine is her unapologetic confidence. Yes, she's proud of the weight she's lost, but even more proud of the woman she's become. She embraces every curve, every part of her body, and radiates a confidence that's real, grounded, and inspiring. 2 years later, she's not just maintained her weight, she's maintained her joy. Jill Scott's transformation isn't just physical. It's a reminder that true beauty comes from balance, gratitude, and love. Up next, discover how the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, faced her own battles and transformed her life in ways that continue to inspire generations. Aretha Franklin, the final battle of the Queen. In her later years, the Queen of Soul stunned the world once more, not with her voice, but with her courage. After undergoing surgery in 2010 at age 68, Aretha Franklin appeared transformed, shedding an astonishing 85 pounds. Whispers filled the headlines, claiming she'd secretly had weight loss surgery. But the Queen silenced the rumors herself, revealing that the procedure was related to a tumor, not vanity. Health battles were nothing new to her. For decades, Aretha's weight and wellness rose and fell like the notes of her greatest ballads. Yet even as her body weakened, her spirit refused to break. Just 1 year after surgery, she was back where she belonged, under the spotlight, commanding the stage with the same fire that made her a legend. By 2017, however, the signs were impossible to ignore. Canceled shows, frail appearances, a voice that trembled but still carried the power of a lifetime. Behind her radiant gowns and brave smiles, Aretha was fighting a silent war, an 8-year battle with pancreatic cancer that she kept fiercely private. Her final performance, in November 2017, was more than a concert. It was a farewell drenched in soul and gratitude. When she passed in August 2018 at 76, she weighed just 85 pounds. But her voice still echoes through time, reminding the world that true greatness isn't measured in pounds. It's measured in the power to rise, to sing, and to endure. Oprah Winfrey, a journey from shame to strength. For decades, Oprah Winfrey's body was a public battleground. Every pound gained or lost became a headline. The media dissected her appearance. And even Oprah herself joined in the criticism. Early in her career, one cruel magazine described her as dumpy, frumpy, and downright lumpy. Those words cut deep. For years, she carried that shame, trapped in a cycle of dieting and self-blame, trying to fit into a standard that was never built for her. But time and wisdom have a way of changing the narrative. Nearing 70, Oprah no longer fights her body. She listens to it. Her true turning point came in 2021, following knee surgery. What began as small, hesitant steps turned into powerful strides. She started hiking, first a few blocks, then miles through the California hills. Soon, she was conquering 3 to 5 miles a day, sometimes 10 on weekends. Each hike rebuilt not only her strength, but her spirit. Today, Oprah embraces health as a form of self-respect. She drinks a gallon of water daily, follows mindful eating habits through Weight Watchers, and ends her meals by 4 p.m. Yet, what truly marks her transformation is her willingness to evolve. After years of resisting weight loss medications out of pride, she finally accepted a truth in 2023, that obesity is not a moral failure, but a chronic disease. That realization set her free. Oprah's story is no longer about numbers on a scale. It's about reclaiming power, finding peace within her own skin, and proving that healing begins when you stop apologizing for being human. Missy Elliott, the beat that defied the odds. Missy Elliott's weight loss journey isn't just about shedding pounds. It's about reclaiming power. In 2011, the hip-hop icon behind Get You Are Freak On faced one of her toughest battles yet. Graves' disease, a relentless autoimmune disorder that attacks the thyroid, causing sudden weight changes, fatigue, and muscle weakness. For many, it would have been a breaking point. For Missy, it became her turning point. Refusing to let the illness define her, she took back control. One meal, one workout, one day at a time. She swapped processed foods for lean proteins, fresh fruits, vibrant veggies, and whole grains, fueling her body like she fuels her art, with intention and passion. Every bite was a choice toward healing. Every workout, a declaration of strength. Even when Graves' disease made movement difficult, Missy kept moving. She trained her body the same way she mastered beats, with rhythm, patience, and soul. Through medication, discipline, and an unshakable belief in herself, she transformed her health and inspired millions to fight for theirs. Missy Elliott didn't just lose weight. She redefined resilience. Queen Latifah, redefining strength and self-love. Queen Latifah's weight loss journey isn't just a story about fitness. It's a story of awakening courage and redefining beauty on her own terms. For years, she's been celebrated for her fearless confidence and powerhouse presence. But on Red Table Talk, she revealed a moment that shook her to the core. Being told she was medically classified as obese while training with celebrity fitness coach Jeanette Jenkins. At first, the label hit her like a slap. Obese? It didn't sound like her. She worked, she moved, she lived with purpose. But as she looked deeper, Latifah began to realize that obesity isn't just about diet or exercise. It's a complex puzzle shaped by genetics, hormones, and the world we live in. The discovery opened her eyes to something much bigger than the scale. Fueled by this new understanding, she took control, not out of shame, but out of love for herself. She built a steady 5-day-a-week workout routine, pushed through the sweat, and slowly saw results. 20 pounds gone and a renewed spirit in its place. Yet for Queen Latifah, this journey was never about chasing perfection. It was about rewriting the narrative. Through her It's Bigger Than Me campaign, she's sparking a global conversation, challenging the stigma, uplifting others, and reminding everyone that health and self-worth aren't defined by a number, but by the power to love yourself at every stage. Lil' Kim, the hip-hop queen's haunting transformation when beauty became a battlefield. Once the fierce and fearless face of 90s hip-hop, Lil' Kim wasn't just an artist. She was a revolution. She dripped confidence, defied convention, and redefined femininity in a world that wasn't built to embrace it. Her music was bold, her fashion louder, and her presence unforgettable. But behind the diamond-studded glamour and flashing cameras was a woman quietly breaking beneath the weight of fame and pain. In the late 90s, while her name echoed through packed clubs and blaring radios, Lil' Kim was living through horror no song could capture. Jealousy turned violent when her then-boyfriend brutally attacked her, breaking her nose, tearing her skin, and knocking out her teeth. The physical scars were visible, but the emotional wounds ran far deeper. As she struggled to heal, tragedy struck again. A devastating car crash left her face further injured. What began as a simple reconstructive surgery soon spiraled into something darker. Each procedure promised healing, but left her chasing a ghost, the face she once knew, the woman she used to be. Haunted by trauma and the relentless pressure of perfection, Kim turned to cosmetic surgery not for vanity, but survival. Each visit to the surgeon's chair was an attempt to erase pain, to sculpt confidence back into her reflection. But with every cut, she drifted further from herself. By the 2010s, fans were stunned. The once glowing icon with rich brown skin and a radiant smile appeared porcelain pale, her features frozen like a doll. Critics whispered, the media mocked, but few understood that behind the transformation was not vanity. It was a cry for control in a world that had taken so much from her. By the 2020s, Lil' Kim had become more than a rapper. She was a cautionary tale, a living symbol of how fame, trauma, and self-image can collide in tragedy. Old photos resurfaced, showing the raw beauty, the spark, the woman who once commanded every room she entered. A painful reminder of what happens when the spotlight shines too long and burns too deep. Toni Braxton, the Queen's stunning transformation amid her battle with illness. Toni Braxton, the legendary songbird whose sultry voice once defined an era of R&B, was the embodiment of poise, beauty, and power. Every note she sang dripped with elegance. Every performance reminded the world why she was called the Queen. But in 2008, everything came crashing down. A diagnosis changed her life forever. Systemic lupus erythematosus, a cruel autoimmune disease that turned her own body into her worst enemy. It started with a chilling moment. Toni collapsing on stage mid-performance, her strength suddenly gone. What followed was a downward spiral. Her body grew frail, her energy vanished, and her reflection became unrecognizable. The glow that once lit up arenas began to fade. She lost weight rapidly. Her face hollowed, her nose reshaped, her skin thinned and aged before its time. The glamorous diva had become a fragile silhouette of her former self. But Toni Braxton refused to surrender. By 2010, she returned to the spotlight, not as the flawless superstar the world once adored, but as a woman marked by battle scars, both visible and unseen. Her eyes carried exhaustion, but behind them burned the fire of survival. She stood before cameras and crowds, not to prove she was perfect, but to prove she was still here. And as the years passed, she began rebuilding, piece by piece. Subtle cosmetic procedures followed. A lifted nose, a tightened face, fillers that restored what illness had taken. These weren't acts of vanity. They were acts of reclamation, a woman reclaiming her identity, her confidence, her crown. By 2015, Toni reemerged like a phoenix reborn. Her features were refined, her skin smooth, her smile radiant. Yet something had changed. The face was flawless, but different, almost ethereal. Fans were mesmerized, others confused. Was this still the Toni they'd fallen in love with, or a woman transformed by pain and survival? What they didn't realize was this. Beneath the flawless exterior still beats the same powerful heart, the same Toni Braxton, who turned heartbreak into harmony and illness into an anthem of resilience. Jada Pinkett Smith, the fierce rebirth of a feminine icon, once admired for her radiant beauty and commanding presence. Jada Pinkett Smith embodied the very essence of feminine grace. Her long, flowing hair wasn't just part of her look. It was her crown, a symbol of strength, sensuality, and self-assurance. But in 2018, that crown began to fall. A silent, unexpected enemy, alopecia, started stripping away something she had always cherished. Each strand lost felt like a small heartbreak. As clumps of hair covered the floor, Jada faced a mirror not with vanity, but with grief. No style, no clever disguise could hide the growing truth. Her hair was disappearing, and with it, a piece of the woman the world thought they knew. Then came 2021, the moment everything changed. Instead of hiding, Jada took the power back. With one fearless decision, she shaved her head. Gone were the locks that once defined her femininity. In their place stood something far more profound, a woman reborn in strength, authenticity, and self-love. Under the spotlight, her bare scalp gleamed like a badge of courage. She wasn't just redefining beauty, she was challenging it. Jada had turned vulnerability into victory, loss into liberation. What once symbolized pain became her power. And in that transformation, the world saw not a fallen star, but queen who chose truth over image, courage over comfort, and authenticity over approval. Tracy Morgan, the smile that faded, but the strength that endured. There was a time when Tracy Morgan's laughter could fill a room before he even spoke. His smile, wide, warm, unstoppable, was a light that lifted spirits wherever he went. As one of comedy's brightest stars, he had everything: fame, fortune, family, and a gift that made millions laugh through their pain. But on the night of June 7th, 2014, that laughter was silenced in an instant. Just after midnight, Tracy and his friends were cruising down the New Jersey Turnpike in a limousine when tragedy struck. A Walmart truck slammed into their vehicle, crushing metal dreams and lives in one horrifying moment. The crash took the life of his close friend, comedian James McNair, and left Tracy shattered, his body broken, his spirit barely hanging on. He suffered traumatic brain injuries, broken ribs, crushed legs, and a face so disfigured doctors had to rebuild it piece by piece. For months, Tracy fought for his life in a blur of surgeries, pain, and slow recovery. When he finally returned to the world, he was no longer the same man. The sparkle that once danced in his eyes had dimmed. His smile, once a symbol of joy, was now marked by scars and the visible weight of everything he'd endured. Yet, beneath those scars lived something far greater than pain: resilience. The kind of strength only tragedy can forge. That night stole a part of Tracy Morgan the world would never get back, but also revealed the soul of survivor. He rose again, not just to tell jokes, but to remind the world what it means to stand tall after being broken. His laughter may have changed, but his spirit, unshakable. Lark Voorhees, from 90s beauty icon to a stranger in her own reflection. In the 1990s, Lark Voorhees was the kind of beauty that stopped you in your tracks. Flawless brown skin, a radiant smile, and a spark that made her unforgettable. As Lisa Turtle on Saved by the Bell, she wasn't just another sitcom star. She was an emblem of Black excellence and charm, lighting up every scene she touched. But as the years went on, the glow that once defined her began to fade. By the early 2010s, fans barely recognized a woman they'd grown up adoring. Her once smooth, sun-kissed skin appeared pale and stretched. Her vibrant expressions had stiffened into something almost unhuman, a mask of pain hidden beneath layers of cosmetic transformation. The truth was far more tragic than tabloid whispers could ever reveal. Lark was fighting a private war with bipolar disorder, a battle that left deep scars, both inside and out. As her mental health declined, she sought comfort in the one thing she could control: her appearance. But the endless pursuit of perfection only pushed her further away from herself. Fillers, surgeries, and the weight of her illness distorted not only her face, but also her sense of identity. The sparkle in her eyes, once full of joy and mischief, had dimmed into a haunting emptiness. Her mother eventually stepped forward, breaking the silence to reveal the truth about her daughter's struggle, a truth that shattered the illusion of Hollywood glamour. Behind the camera flashes was a woman silently drowning in her own mind. Today, Lark Voorhees stands as a heartbreaking reminder that fame can magnify pain, and that mental illness doesn't just change how the world sees you, it can change how you see yourself. Missy Elliott, the unbelievable transformation of a hip-hop icon after a life-altering illness. Missy Elliott isn't just a name in hip-hop, she's a movement. From the moment she stepped onto the scene, Missy shattered expectations with her fearless creativity, futuristic beats, and unapologetic individuality. She was bold, confident, magnetic, a woman whose energy could fill a stadium and whose genius redefined an entire generation of music. But behind the fame and flashing lights, life had a cruel twist waiting. In 2008, Missy began noticing her body betraying her. Her eyes bulged, her hands trembled. Pounds melted away without explanation. The woman once known for commanding every stage suddenly felt powerless in her own skin. After years of confusion and quiet suffering, she revealed the truth. She was battling Graves' disease, a rare autoimmune disorder that attacks the thyroid and wreaks havoc on the body. Fans were stunned. The once unstoppable Missy the powerhouse of rhythm and style, now faced a battle far beyond the microphone. Her once vibrant image gave way to frailty, her powerful presence replaced with exhaustion and uncertainty. But if the world thought illness would silence her, they didn't know Missy. She adapted, she fought, she transformed. Missy reinvented herself with the same creative fire that once revolutionized music. Loose-fitting clothes and iconic hats became her new armor, symbols of strength, not shame. She may have lost part of the image the world adored, but she gained something far greater: resilience. Through it all, Missy Elliott remained what she's always been, a trailblazer. Her battle with Graves' disease didn't break her. It revealed the depth of her spirit. She showed the world that true power doesn't come from perfection. It comes from surviving what was meant to destroy you and still standing tall. Missy didn't just change hip-hop. She redefined what strength looks like. Sammy Sosa. The rise, the glow, and the mystery behind his transformation. Sammy Sosa, once the thunderous heart of Major League Baseball, embodied power, pride, and charisma. With his dark, handsome features and million-dollar smile, he wasn't just a ball player. He was a global sensation. Fans adored him for his explosive home runs and magnetic confidence. But after his retirement in 2009, the man who once stood as a symbol of black excellence began to change, and not just in the usual post-retirement way. It started subtly. A few photos surfaced showing Sammy's skin appearing lighter. Then, over time, that deep chocolate complexion vanished entirely. The man who once radiated strength under the sun now appeared pale, almost ghostly, a transformation that left fans stunned and confused. The backlash was immediate. People wondered, what happened to Sammy Sosa? Was it health-related or something deeper? Sosa himself admitted he had used skin-lightening creams, brushing it off as a personal choice, not an attempt to alter his race. But his explanation only fueled more questions. To many, his new appearance felt like the erasure of the very identity that had once inspired millions. And it wasn't just the skin that changed. The wardrobe of a humble athlete gave way to flashy suits, silk scarves, and jewel-toned ensembles. The once familiar hero of Chicago's Wrigley Field had become an enigma, unrecognizable to those who once cheered his name. To this day, Sammy Sosa remains one of baseball's most puzzling figures. Whether his transformation was a statement of self-expression or a reflection of inner battles, one thing is certain: the legend we remember under the stadium lights is not the man we see today. Michael Jackson, the king of pop's astonishing transformation that shook the world. Michael Jackson wasn't just a superstar. He was a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. The king of pop dazzled audiences with his electrifying moves, angelic voice, and a charisma that transcended race, borders, and generations. But as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the mystery surrounding his appearance. In the late 1980s, subtle changes began to show. What started as faint white patches on his skin soon became a global talking point. The cause: vitiligo, a rare condition that erases pigment and leaves skin unevenly pale. For someone whose face was recognized around the world, the transformation was agonizing. Under intense scrutiny, Michael turned to makeup and medical treatments to even his skin tone. But that was only the beginning. As years passed, his features seemed to evolve with every public appearance. His once broad nose thinned, his cheekbones sharpened, and his jawline appeared sculpted to near perfection. Behind the scenes, Michael also battled lupus, an autoimmune disease that worsened skin issues and caused chronic pain and fatigue. Fame, illness, and endless pressure merged into a perfect storm that reshaped not only his face, but his entire identity. By the 1990s, the transformation was complete. The radiant young man who once moonwalked into history now looked like a haunting echo of himself. Fans were torn between awe and heartbreak, unsure whether to admire his courage or mourn the man they once knew. Yet through it all, his genius never faded. Michael Jackson remained a master performer until the end, his life serving as both a dazzling triumph and a chilling reminder of how fame can both crown and consume those it touches. Al Roker, the incredible journey from jolly icon to unrecognizable survivor. Al Roker, the beloved face of morning television, was once celebrated for his infectious laughter and warm, larger-than-life personality. His cheerful energy became a daily dose of sunshine for millions of viewers across America. But behind that joyful smile, Roker was quietly battling a dangerous truth. By 2002, at over 330 pounds, 150 kilograms, his doctors delivered a chilling warning. His health was spiraling and his life was at risk. Faced with sobering reality, Roker made a life-changing decision: gastric bypass surgery. What followed was nothing short of a transformation that stunned the world. Within months, he lost more than 150 pounds, 70 kilograms. The man who once embodied joy and familiarity became almost unrecognizable. His face, once round and radiant, now appeared sharp and drawn. His body had changed so drastically that even loyal fans struggled to reconcile the new image with the Al they'd grown to love. Yet the biggest transformation wasn't just physical. It was deeply emotional. The rapid weight loss brought renewed health, but also unexpected challenges. Roker admitted to battling body image issues and emotional turbulence as he adjusted to his new reflection. To the public, it was a success story, but to Roker, it was a journey of rediscovery, a reminder that true change demands more than surgery. It requires courage, resilience, and the strength to rebuild from within. Tyan T-Balls Watkins, a battle for survival behind the spotlight. Tyan Watkins, known in the world as T-Balls, the fearless voice behind TLC, once embodied strength, style, and unstoppable confidence. Her energy lit up every stage. Her radiant smile became her signature, and her voice defined a generation of 1990s R&B. But while fans saw the glamour and success, few knew the silent war she was fighting behind the scenes, a brutal, lifelong battle with sickle cell anemia. This wasn't just an illness. It was a storm that raged through her body, stealing her energy, twisting her beauty, and testing her spirit. The pain was excruciating, the fatigue relentless. At times, her skin grew pale, her face swelled, and her once bright eyes darkened with exhaustion. Her thick, golden hair thinned, her sparkle faded. And yet, through the mirror's cruel honesty, T-Balls refused to surrender. Even as her reflection changed, her fire didn't. She faced every flare-up with grace, defying odds that doctors once said she wouldn't survive. She learned to embrace the woman staring back. Scarred, yes, but stronger than ever. For every day she stepped on stage, she wasn't just performing. She was surviving. She was proving that true beauty isn't what shines under the spotlight. It's what refuses to fade when the lights go out. Richard Pryor, the fire that fought to stay lit. Richard Pryor wasn't just a comedian. He was a revolution wrapped in laughter, a fearless truth-teller. He tore down barriers with every joke, blending pain and humor like no one else could. On stage, he was lightning, raw, brilliant, unstoppable. But behind that thunderous laughter, a silent storm was forming. In 1986, Pryor's world shifted. The diagnosis, multiple sclerosis, hit like a cruel punchline with no laughter at the end. What began as fatigue and unsteady steps slowly evolved into a thief that stole his freedom piece by piece. By the early 90s, the man who once on the stage with boundless energy now struggled just to move. Every step was a battle, every motion a test of will. The face that once radiated mischief and charm began to stiffen, and that legendary smile, the one that made the world laugh, faded into stillness. As the disease tightened its grip, Pryor's body grew frail, but his spirit refused to surrender. Fans watched in heartbreak as the man who had given them joy became trapped inside his own body. Yet even then, Richard Pryor's flame never fully dimmed. Beneath the silence, there was still defiance, a spark of the fighter he'd always been. In his pain, he showed the world what true strength looked like. His greatest performance wasn't on stage. It was in the courage he displayed when the laughter stopped. Sandra Denton, a hip-hop rebel broken by the knife. Sandra Denton wasn't just a rapper. She was a revolution. As one half of the trailblazing duo Salt and Pepper, she brought fire to the stage, unshakable confidence, and a beauty that was both fierce and unforgettable. Her razor-sharp features and fearless energy made her an icon you couldn't take your eyes off. But fame doesn't last forever, love doesn't always heal, and time shows no mercy. By the mid-2000s, after career setbacks and the heartbreak of divorce, Sandra sought solace in plastic surgery. In 2007, she went under the knife for a nose job, chasing the hope of reinvention. Instead, what she found was the beginning of her undoing. When the bandages came off, the mirror betrayed her. Her nose was misshapen, twisted, and hauntingly unfamiliar. Desperation took hold. Surgery after surgery, injection after injection. She tried to reclaim the woman she once was. Botox and fillers promised youth, but instead they carve her face into something stiff, swollen, and unrecognizable. The fearless beauty who once commanded every room was gone, leaving only a mass of regret behind. The same fans who once cheered her defiance now whispered about her downfall. Sandra Denton, the rebel, the icon, the woman who had once broken barriers, was now a cautionary tale, not destroyed by rivals, not silenced by scandal, but undone by her own war with time and the knife that promised salvation. Tyan Watkins. Tyan T-Balls Watkins, a cautionary tale of beauty, fame, and the high price of chasing perfection. As the heartbeat of TLC, the best-selling girl group in history, T-Balls was unforgettable. That smoky, soulful voice, the platinum blonde crown of hair, a face that could strike with sharpness, yet melt with softness. She wasn't just a singer. She was strength wrapped in allure, a woman who carried a generation's soundtrack. But behind the sparkle, shadows gathered. Chronic illness weighed her down. And in 2002, tragedy hit like a thunderclap. The sudden loss of her sister in spirit, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. The glow of TLC dimmed, and T-Balls herself seemed to fade with it. Time and pain left their marks, eroding not only her health, but also her confidence. By 2005, desperation led her to a fateful choice. A nose job meant to restore her image backfired, shrinking her features and throwing her natural beauty off balance. Hoping to hold on to youth, she turned to Botox and fillers. Instead of rebirth, her reflection stiffened into something unrecognizable. Cheeks puffed, lips rigid, her once expressive face frozen in time. The graceful face of TLC became only a memory. On stage, T-Balls looked into the mirror and saw a stranger. And heartbreakingly, so did the world. Tamika Tiny Harris. Tamika Tiny Harris was once the golden voice of Xscape, sweet, soulful, and unforgettable. With radiant brown skin and a glowing round face, she embodied natural 90s beauty, a symbol of raw talent and authenticity. Fans didn't just hear her, they adored her because she was real. But after marrying rapper T.I., the spotlight shifted. No longer the center of her own stage, Tiny became a shadow standing beside a powerful man. The pressure to maintain perfection, to mold herself into someone else's vision, grew heavier with time. By the 2010s, her transformation had begun, not with music, but with surgery. At first, the changes seemed subtle. A sharper nose, fuller cheeks, smoother skin. But with each new procedure, the woman fans once cherished drifted further away. The nose job left her features slightly uneven. Fillers puffed her cheeks until they looked swollen and unnatural. Botox smoothed the lines, but also erased the warmth of her expressions. Skin lightening drained the glow from her complexion, leaving her pale and ghost-like. Even her lips, once soft and inviting, became overfilled and rigid. What was promised as enhancement became disfigurement. The mirror no longer reflected a beloved star. It showed a frozen figure, a sculpted shell. Tiny Harris, once a beacon of authenticity, now looked less like herself and more like a haunting replica. Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown, once crowned hip-hop's untouchable princess, fell from grace in a way no platinum record could protect her from. In the 90s, she ruled the scene with that fierce voice, striking beauty, and fearless swagger, going toe-to-toe with Lil' Kim and dominating the rap charts. But fame's throne is fragile. Chaos followed, violent outbursts, prison time, and a devastating loss of hearing. Almost overnight, her empire collapsed. Clinging to the hope of a comeback, Foxy turned to the surgeon's chair in 2005, but instead of redemption, it became her undoing. Her bold, signature nose was shaved down, her cheeks swollen with fillers, her natural charm erased by Botox's frozen mask. Even her once sultry smile, the one fans adored, hardened into something unrecognizable beneath overfilled lips. When she reemerged, the world didn't see a queen reclaiming her crown. They saw a stranger. Whispers spread like wildfire, mocking what she had become. What happened to Foxy Brown? The woman who once spit fire into microphones was no longer celebrated. Instead, she became a punchline, a tragic reminder that not every comeback finds its way back to the throne. Miami once had a queen, and her name was Trina, the baddest chick, the sexiest rapper, a fierce icon who owned the 2000s hip-hop scene. She had it all: dangerous curves, razor-sharp rhymes, and a stage presence so magnetic. She didn't just perform, she reigned. Her anthems of female empowerment crowned her untouchable. No rival could touch her throne. But the game shifted. By the 2010s, the Brazilian butt lift craze was everywhere. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B stormed with impossible curves and cartoon-like silhouettes that redefined the industry's beauty standards. Trina saw the brutal truth. In hip-hop, if you don't evolve, you get erased. So, she chose the knife. At first, the BBL gave her the boost she wanted. But temptation is a dangerous thing. One surgery turned into 2, then 3. Slowly, her body betrayed her. What was once sculpted perfection became uneven. One side lifted high, the other sagging low. Sitting revealed the imbalance. Walking sparked whispers. The streets called it what it was: a bad BBL. And it didn't stop there. Fillers and tweaks reshaped her face into something hauntingly unfamiliar. Puffed cheeks, lopsided lips, a nose carved down to unnatural proportions. The glamorous queen of Miami rap had disappeared. In her place stood a heartbreaking reminder of beauty lost to the surgeon's table. A living cautionary tale of how chasing perfection can turn even legends into strangers trapped in their own skin. Nicki Minaj, the terrifying price of becoming hip-hop's artificial doll. She didn't just rise on sheer talent. Nicki demanded the world's gaze a look nobody had ever dared before. By 2009, Pink Friday crowned her untouchable. But in the brutal world of rap, staying at the top always comes with a price. As the pressure mounted, Nicki began to transform. A BBL gave her curves that instantly reset the industry's beauty standard. Her backside became legendary, the kind of perfection fans and critics obsessed over. But it didn't stop there. Her nose slimmed, her cheeks swelled, her lips thickened, until a vibrant face once full of expression hardened into something almost porcelain, nearly plastic. Behind the mirror, she often struggled to recognize the woman staring back. Her body no longer moved with ease, her curves swinging heavy, her frame burdened by the weight of reinvention. On stage, she was worshipped, adored, the queen of spectacle. Off stage, her natural beauty faded, buried beneath layers of alteration. Nicki had become the very doll she once mocked and imitated, flawless at a glance but stiff, synthetic, and eerily unfamiliar. She won the crown of reinvention, yes, but the cost? A haunting loss of self that no stage lights could hide. K. Michelle, a bloody quest with perfect body gone wrong. K. Michelle wasn't just a singer. She was a firecracker of reality TV, the unapologetic face of curves and confidence in the 2010s. Her body turned heads. Her energy lit up love and hip-hop. And she came to represent everything the era worshipped about beauty and fame. But behind the glamour, her pursuit of perfection pushed her into a brutal war with her own flesh. In 2014, she wanted a knife for a butt lift, chasing the hourglass silhouette that ruled pop culture, snatched waist, extreme curves, the kind of figure that commanded attention. And she got it. Fans couldn't look away. But with every photo op came unseen agony. Her body began to rebel. Sitting became torture. Her frame buckled under the weight of the dream she bought. By 2018, the nightmare had reached its climax. One morning, she woke up unable to feel her legs, her backside grotesquely swollen. Doctors delivered the truth like a death sentence. The silicone inside her was poisoning her, spreading toxins through her blood. Without immediate surgery, she wouldn't live. Hours later, surgeons carved 5.3 pounds of poison from her body, leaving behind scars, trauma, and a woman who no longer recognized her reflection. The mirror showed a stranger. The flawless image she had chased was gone, replaced by dense wounds and a reminder what perfection really costs. In trying to sculpt the ideal Kay, Michelle lost the one thing she had always owned, her sense of self. Amara La Negra, the body broken in the chase for perfection. Once celebrated as a radiant singer and reality star, Amara La Negra embodied confidence and allure in Latin entertainment. But behind the applause and flashing cameras, she carried a secret. None of it felt like enough. After a breakout on Love and Hip Hop, Miami in 2018, Amara wanted more than fame. She craved an image of flawless perfection. Surgery seemed like the answer. Doctors promised her the dream body, but the results became a nightmare. Her curves grew, but in distorted ways. Her cheeks stiffened, swollen and immovable. Her nose lost its natural grace, and her lips ballooned unevenly, leaving her face hauntingly unfamiliar. By 2019, her transformation was undeniable. Sitting became painful, her body misshaped, and whispers followed her every appearance. Fans said she looked like she was wearing a mask. By 2021, the pain was unbearable. Doctors warned that without corrective surgery, or even full removal, her suffering would only get worse. Amara had traded her natural beauty for an illusion, and the cost was devastating. The relentless pressure of entertainment left her a stranger in her own skin. Her story, like so many others, is a brutal reminder. The pursuit of perfection can strip away the very essence of who we are. Talented women, once vibrant and full of promise, paying the highest price for approval. So now we ask you, whose story strikes you as the most heartbreaking? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold truths behind Hollywood's glittering facade.